and good morning, year 4. I hope you had a great bank holiday weekend. I hope you enjoyed the sunshine and spent some time with your family. And today we're going to have a look at a compound sentence with subordinate clauses at the front. So before we start, let me go quickly up to the first example of the work that we've done last in SPAG. And this is something that I want you to remember, is giving yourself some space. Whenever you place a comma in a sentence, you need to press the space button and have a space. So it's comma, space, then the rest of the sentence. So here's an example of work from one of you, and it's a great piece of work. If it was on paper, lovely, that's done, that's correct. But when you're typing it, it's not correct because you haven't got that comma. You see, in fact, you have the little red underlining that tells you over here, that tells you that this is not correct. So all you need to do is tap it, give yourself some space, and you are done. I don't know. Oh, and here the PowerPoint recognized that you need to give yourself some space. So whenever you use a comma after a subordinate clause, give yourself some space. That's me done with that section. Let's move on to the next part. So today we will create compound sentences starting with subordinate clauses, and today the subordinate clause at the front will include a preposition. And prepositions are the words, they're expressions, because sometimes it can be more than one or two words that tell you about time and space, hence the picture. So we're going to start with subordinate clauses at the front, and I will want you to include a preposition, and that will tell me about time and space. Ooh, spooky. So let's have a quick look at our success criteria. Our success criteria today, the steps to success under many, many names over the years. Prepositions are expressions. You see? I know that prepositions are expressions that indicate where and when things take place. So like I said, it's time and space. Space is where things are, either on top, under, next to, far away, up close, where things are. And when, it's the time, yeah? It's a location within time. So location within time and space. We're going to be thinking about where and when things are. So we are going to start a sentence with a subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is a part of a sentence that doesn't have a noun. Subordinate clause, no noun. Subordinate clause, no noun. Subordinate clause, no noun. Subordinate clause, no noun. Subordinate clause doesn't have a. If you said noun, that's the correct answer. It doesn't have a noun, so it can't stand on its own. Subordinate means that it takes order. Yeah, it takes order from the other part of the sentence. The other part of the sentence, it's its boss. So we're going to place the subordinate clause at the front of the sentence to make it more interesting. Just because it takes order doesn't mean that it's not interesting, and it also gives us extra information. So we're going to start a sentence with a subordinate clause. And we're going to place comma before a pronoun, and we're going to give ourselves some space. So that's it. That's all that we're going to do today. In your independent practice, I will want you to create 6 sentences using subordinate clauses at the front, comma before a pronoun, and preposition in one of the subordinate clauses. So once again, let's go. We're going to skip. In fact, I'm going to delete this slide because you should all know that. Here is Wally. People always wonder, where is Wally? Hence, he is a very good representation of preposition because we don't know where is Wally, whether he's on the beach, in the school, in a prison, in a hospital. Where is Wally? That's the question that's on everyone's mind. And that's why he's here, because prepositions are telling me about space and time. And we also know when is Wally. So where is Wally? Is Wally in the school in the morning? Is Wally in the school in the evening? When is also a preposition. Prepositions are words that describe where and when things place. And there's such words as in, on, behind, at, between, over, above, under. Yeah. In the red section is when, during a lesson, during lunch, during playtime. So that also tells me when things happen. It gives me that extra information. If you have any questions about that section, please let me know. But what you need to remember, just like Wally, prepositions are words that tell you where and when things happen. You can pause the video and read the words. You can read that section of words. Also, that PowerPoint presentation will be included in your work, so you can also go through it. You can read through it and remind yourself whenever you like. Here is a useful list of words. Sorry, it's a bit blurry, but that's the best we could find for now. So here are the prepositions in space. Prepositions that tell me where things are, where things takes place. Here are the prepositions of time. And here you see that prepositions are such a huge family of words because some of them also tell you both. They tell you about space and time at the same time. Because before, let's look at the example of before, I could say, I'm standing in a line before Ayla, yeah? Or before the lesson, yeah, that's already the time. I'm not standing before the lesson, but I could have wiped down the board by that lesson, yeah? So, sorry about that, there's a notification. So before could mean that I'm standing before some place, or something happened before in the day. Also, that is included for you. If you want to have a look at that list of the words, that's fine. We're not going to spend time looking at it because the video would be super long. But if you would like some more information about that, let me know. Get in touch, leave a comment. So right, that is the slide that you should use. I think I'm going to place my face over here. This is the slide that you should use, and you should pause and look at it because it shows everything that you need to do today in order to be successful. I'm only going to talk about the first example because time waits for no man. Around the room, Mrs. Cook has a lot of Edgar Allan Poe items. Around the room, Mrs. Cook has a lot of Edgar Allan Poe items. Edgar Allan Poe was an author, brilliant author. He wrote a lot of spooky, not scary, spooky stories and poems. Really good author. So here you see, around the room, comma, Mrs. Cook had a lot of Edgar Allan Poe items. And allow me to remind you, Mrs. Cook is a noun, it's a pronoun. So because there was a subordinate clause without a noun before the pronoun, we need a comma. And here you see, if I cover the rest of the sentence, around the room doesn't make sense on its own. If I said around the room, yeah, we know it's around the room. but it's not a full idea. It's not a full sentence. So around the room, subordinate clause, Mrs. Cook has a lot of Edgar Allan Poe items. And if I removed around the room and just said Mrs. Cook has a lot of Edgar Allan Poe items, that's a sentence that makes sense by itself. The subordinate clause at the front just gives us a little bit more information. So this is how your sentences should look like today. Now, what are we going to do? I'm going to go into practice. I'm going to show you how I would solve one examples. I'm going to show you today's work, and then we're done, right? Let's move to it. Let's move on to practice. And here's your practice. I'm going to have to close that. Boom, it's slightly larger now. And once again, I'm going to do only one sentence because then that video is Lord of the Rings. It's super, super long. Nobody has time for that. So I'm going to move myself into time and space over here. And remember that I want a subordinate clause that tells me where or when at the front of my sentence, not at the end. I can't start with words like I, they, Mr. Koza, Thor. I can't start with a pronoun, not today. Normally I can, but not today. Right, so let's insert the text box. Oh, I got a new puppy on December the 15th. Okay, that's an amazing sentence. I wish I had a new puppy, but I don't. I got a new puppy on December 15th. And let me just make it slightly larger for those of us who still needs a bit of help seeing it. I got a new puppy on December 15th. Perfectly good sentence, nothing wrong with that. But we're very, very much used to doing that, beginning with I, or starting with a noun. And in order to make our writing and our expressions a bit more spicy, we are going to move the preposition, as you see over here, at the front. Yeah? Now, I am going to highlight it, and I'm going to change the color just so it's consistent with this, that I don't like this shade of blue, 50 shades of blue. Right, so let's have a look. I got a new puppy on December 15th. Now I have my subordinate clause, my preposition at the end, but I want it at the front. So I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to place it here. On December 15th, I got a new puppy. Now, there's two things wrong with that. First of all, I don't have punctuation at the end. And just because, as you might be surprised to know, I'm quite a loud person. So I'm going to put an exclamation mark at the end. Because we use full stops all the time, adding ellipses wouldn't be a great idea because it's not a mysterious sentence. And getting a new puppy, you have to admit, is kind of an exciting deal. Now, I will want to place a capital letter at the beginning of the sentence. Sorry, wrong button. On December 15th, I got a new puppy. And now I'm going to have to remove that full stop, place a comma, and you see, now it's correct because I have some space. If I move it back, does it say that it's wrong? No, but it doesn't look right. So give yourself some space. Now I have a subordinate clause at the front with a sentence telling me when. On December 15th, I know exactly when I got the puppy. I got a new puppy. Now, after the game, comma, I walked home. Between the fence, comma, there was a hole. By the way, this is not a correct way of writing word hole, but I'll allow that for now. We're going to address that at a different time. This is what we need to remember. Prepositional phrase at the beginning, subordinate clause, comma, space after a comma before a pronoun. That is how a sentence should look like. So now, here you will have some sentences based around a cartoon. So I picked that mostly because Tom and Jerry are very, very active and very, very clear to see in their animation what's going on. So we're not worried about anything else. We just want subordinate clause, preposition, comma, that's it. I don't want you to improve those sentences in any other ways. Just make sure that you have a preposition that tells you when, space and time, or where, space and time, things are happening. So here I have a sentence, and I don't want you to, this is the main clause, I don't want you to change it. It has some spicier words for you to just like get used to spelling them, to get used to seeing them, to get used to seeing a bit sentences that aren't super boring. But I don't want you to improve that part. All I want you to think of is when or where that action could take place. So what I'm going to do is going to highlight, Control A, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. Boom. Highlight. Go. Done. 32. That's far too large. That's far too large. That's far too large. Right. So let's get to it. So here we have the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. The foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. Foul, it's a bit more interesting words to say evil or bad or naughty. But the sentence, if I said the bad cat was mixing, would be a bit boring. So, first, I want to think of where was the foul cat mixing a mysterious mixture. So I'm going to show you an example that could be, there's a powder, so in the kitchen, comma, space, remove capital letter. So in the kitchen, the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. Right, lovely. Obviously, you could add an adjective in the dark kitchen, in the cramped kitchen, entirely up to you. But I just wanted a phrase at the beginning to tell me where things take place. It's kind of dark, so maybe in the basement, the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. Could be. Good idea. Preposition. In his laboratory. In his laboratory, the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. 3 ideas. All I'm interested in is just using the picture to get the idea and describing, adding a phrase at the beginning that tells me where it might take place. Now, since we have where, I can also describe this picture, but once again, I'm not inventing a new sentence. All I'm adding is a prepositional phrase, where or when things are taking place. I could use a preposition to explain when this action, when did the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. So I look at the picture, I see, oh, there's a big shadow, there's light coming down, maybe it's night. So, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. You see that comma space. At midnight. At midnight, the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. So I used a picture. But obviously within the realms of reasons, it can be silly. Before lunch, yeah, the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. During playtime, I don't know what we get up to during playtime. Maybe that was his playtime activity. During playtime, the foul cat was mixing a mysterious mixture. What I'm interested in is for us to using time and space, and the front of the sentence, use a comma before a pronoun, and your work will be successful. Yes? So now let's look at the examples here. You will have, oh, choose that. The, the cat was snoring over here. So you have when, you need a preposition at the beginning to tell when the cat was snoring, and where. Where was the cat snoring? Look at the location. Where is he snoring? Is he on the carpet? Is he in the living room? Is he in the classroom? Does he look like he's in a museum? Where or when could those things get place? The irate means angry, the irate cat discovered the mouse. When did he discover the mouse? Where did he discover the mouse? You need to type in the sentence with the preposition, comma, before the pronoun, and punctuation at the end. And finally, the mischievous, you should know the word mischievous because a lot of you actually are mischievous. Ayla. The mischievous cat plays the dangerous dynamite. The mischievous cat plays the dangerous dynamite. When did that happen? And obviously, where should be fairly straightforward. And that is it. You create a sentence each for those. So one sentence for when and one sentence for where. Just like I've done, but in separate boxes. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, don't be shy to contact me. Wash your hands and have an awesome day. I'll see you around, year 4. See you later.